We're live on YouTube, by the way.
What's up, Chris? Damn right. Shalom, Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander GEN.YAHANNA. And you already know our mission is to teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians who they are according to the Bible, and that the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of.
Right.
This is the Feast of Purim.
Right.
Understand? This is a mighty day, man. This is something that we need to get into. Celebrating the Lord high holy days, man, and rocking it out. This is the opening feast. There will be a closing tomorrow. Anything you want to bring up on that?
Not other than, just how important it is that our people get into these different, not only the classes, but the feast day classes, the high holy day Sabbath services, the Sabbath service itself. Like, it's important for us to learn about our culture and who it is that we really are as a people. That's the only way it is that we can come out of this hell, is by learning our true identity and learning what's expected of us as a nation. That's all I got. I don't want.
Damn right. Absolutely right, mighty man. With that being said, man, we're gonna get it in.
Khan. This is the book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. And Slacky, if I could just real quick, I don't want like this is just to show our people why it is that we have this feast. On the closing, we'll be going over, the feast itself, the celebration it is that we had, but this is to show our people why it is that we had it, and to show our people that this disgusting heathen Haman is no different from the heathens today that rule over us as a nation.
Right.
You understand? He's no different from our oppressor. Verse 2. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. And of course, just like today, how it is that these, different heathen nations submit themselves to our oppressor and his government. That's why it is that America is able to go around and bully every single nation into doing their bidding.
Right.
Like just like these heathens were submitting themselves to Haman because he was mighty. You understand? He had the backing of the king, which means that he had power. And that's the same thing that heathens do today, because America, of course, has power in this earth. But that power that America has is not going to always be here. Right. Like, that power is going to begin to fail, as we've seen with, of course, France, breaking their ties with America. Like we brought out in the Sabbath service, like France was America's longest standing ally. Like, they was allies for 200 something years, and then they killed
the French Revolution.
That
couldn't have happened without good old American boys.
You understand? And then they ended up peeling off because they got gypped on some money. Like America's standing in this earth is not always going to be as it has been when we've been growing up. Like, we've always thought, America, they're going to continue to reign. It's the best country. Nobody can beat them. None of that.
Right.
When in reality, there is a power in this earth that is much greater than the power of America. Right. Much greater than the power of white supremacy, which America pushes through this earth.
That's right. And if I could, like, even you see it in the scriptures, man. Like, there's an old saying, and we used to just think it was OG wisdom. You get what I'm saying? We used to think that the old heads was dropping it heavy, but really it's biblical. That's an old saying. What goes around comes around.
Right.
What goes up must come down. You get what I'm saying? But we used to think that was OG wisdom. I'm going to find out that's biblical. That's in the scriptures. the scriptures, the Lord says he's going to make Edom fall.
Right.
He who exalts himself as an eagle, he who makes his nest upon the stars, he's going to bring them down to the ground. Where we're going to say, this is the man that the nations feared.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's going to be so destroyed that our grandkids is not going to believe the stories we tell them. White people had us in slavery. Quit joking. Don't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like this, and these stories right here, this is why the I.S.U.P.K is so important, because we were so hell-bent on celebrating birthdays, Christmases, and all of that, but we never knew about the Feast of Purim. We never knew about any high holy day. I know I didn't. Heard of the Passover, never knew to celebrate it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Never knew to celebrate it. Never knew about the Feast of First Fruit. Never knew about none of that, man. And on top of that, me not knowing, but I never knew it was my culture.
Right.
And that's the sad part. Like, and when you think about it, it makes the most sense. It had to be something related to us. That's why we weren't allowed to do it, because we sure allowed to celebrate 4th of July, which has nothing to do with us.
Right.
Any one of these pagan holidays that has absolutely nothing to do with us. That's pushed and promoted, and it's National Bagel Day and National Donut Day and National Hamburger Day, and we don't celebrate that goofy stuff. We do it. What's up?
If I may, just to go with that, not only do they make us celebrate made up holidays, but do they not make their holidays based off of the holy feast days?
Yeah,
in a sense? Like
absolutely.
Easter, Esther, type of shit.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Let's get some more on the scriptures, please.
Okay, but Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence.
He did what?
Bowed not.
Nah, he pulled a TD Jakes.
Bowed not.
Nah, he pulled a Creflo Dollar.
Bowed not.
He done what every Christian pastor has done, and every church and every black community done. Right? That's what he did. He bowed.
Bowed not.
This is a spirit that's only found in One West.
Right.
You understand? This is a One West spirit right here, man. When you hear these stories of the priests and prophets and how mighty they are, just understand that these priests and prophets have been born again on the earth and air in the I.S.U.P.K. Right. This same spirit is running rampant in the I.S.U.P.K, man. We don't bow to nothing, man. I wish the devil would. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to be at camp to experience it, boy. We ain't going. You understand? Go ahead.
Nor did him reverence.
And give him glory for what? Give him props for what? Give him love for what? We ain't got none of that for our enemies. It's that simple.
Verse 3. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgresseth thou the king's commandment?
He said, what?
Why transgresseth thou the king's commandment?
You know what this is to me when I hear stuff like this in the scriptures? This is that one sellout at your slavery. Because everybody, whenever you don't appease to the masses, or whatever you don't do what the oppressor wants you to do, that's the first thing that people ask you. Well, why don't you celebrate Christmas? You ever get asked that? That's equivalent to what they're saying right here. Why ain't you listening to what the king say? Who is the king in today's world? The white man. He's the king. You know what I'm saying? That's why the pictures of Jesus Christ are white. That's why all the angels are white. Right. And little naked white babies. Everything is force-fed. White. But in the same breath, they tell your black ass that color doesn't matter. Right. Color doesn't matter. You get what I'm saying? And to say anything other than that is to transgress the king.
Right. And of course, you know, this is something it is that we teach brothers from the jump as well as sisters. If you when you come in here and you really commit yourself, Satan's going to come against you by threatening to take that job from you. Yeah, brothers, you got to be willing to come. You got to be willing to lose that slave.
Right.
Like, I don't give a damn if you make 6 figures. You understand? If you make 8 figures, just an absurd amount of money. It's not worth abandoning your people so you can be rich in an empire that hates your guts.
Right.
To be rich in an empire that, whether you believe it or understand it, is going to eventually fall.
Right.
And you're going to be viewed as nothing more than a brother who abandoned his people.
A coward.
You understand? Not only abandon his people, but you abandon the brothers that showed you love, that cared for you, that would kill and die for you if necessary. You don't want to be remembered like that. That's why if you come in here, you got to make sure you're going to be down. You understand? You can't come in here and be lukewarm. You have to be hot.
Right, and if I could, and if you know that you ain't got that kind of spirit, don't waste your goddamn time.
Right.
Don't waste our time. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. We still love you. You know what I'm saying? You just be what we always used to call niggas like that in the world, a soft-ass nigga. Everybody's not meant to be a soldier. It's just that simple. So you want to say, priest?
Be a student.
Right.
Right. Go through all the trials and tribulations.
Right.
Go through the fire. You know what I'm saying? Just be a student.
Right.
8 times.
You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you something. Before you get that oil poured on your head, this is what you really need to reconsider. This is because once you get that oil poured on your head, man, it's worse. It's worse for you. You know what I'm saying? It don't get easier. It only gets harder. And then for you to break that oath, you know what I'm saying? The Lord ain't going. Lord ain't going. You know what I'm saying? This is why the spirit of the I.S.U.P.K is so important. Right. That's why stories like this is so important, man. We don't fold for enemies. And it was something that Bongad said. He was saying, you know what I'm saying? Be prepared to lose that job. Don't just be prepared to lose that job. Be prepared to lose it all.
Right.
Be prepared to lose that girl that you love so much. Be prepared to lose that house that is my favorite house and is my favorite car and I just got this and this is a family heirloom and all that filth right there. Be prepared to lose it all, man.
Right.
You know what made me successful in this school? I'm going to be honest with you. You know what made me successful? I was prepared to lose it all. I didn't give a damn about nothing. I came into this school and I learned how to quit being weak up under women, quit being weak up under baby mamas, and, you know, having my kids lingered over me as weapons. You know what I learned how to say? F you and them kids.
Right.
See, when you're growing up, boy.
The Lord will give you more at the end of the day.
Straight up. And that's what we have to learn, man. This is an unyielding spirit. We don't bow to fake kings. We don't bow to our enemies because that's all war tactics from our enemies, man. That's once more why this story is so important. They asked Mordecai, man, why ain't you bowing down? What's wrong with you? You just gonna blatantly go against what the oppressor said? Let's find out.
Come on. It's like just real quick. Hey, Tazba, if you could just scoot your chair into that gap right there so we can keep the walkway clear. Baba Kasha. I appreciate it. Verse 4. Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand.
Stop right there. Now, it said they spake daily unto him, trying to convert him. Who does this sound like? This sounds like your family.
Right.
This sounds like your family. This sounds like the Christian church. You get what I'm saying? They don't want you to be one West. They don't want you to serve the Lord. They want you to do wicked stuff. They want you to be a part. If everybody's going left and you going right, it's a problem. They trying to figure out what's wrong with you. Why are you a part of that crazy cult? Why are you celebrating holidays that nobody's never heard of?
Right.
Why are you celebrating holidays that nobody's ever heard of? That is crazy. You niggas is crazy. But I got a better question for y'all, you Christians. For Christians to know the Bible frontwards and backwards. Why come we never heard of these holidays?
Right.
Why come we didn't celebrate this in the Christian church? Why come we celebrate every holiday that the oppressor tells us to that's not in the Bible, but all of a sudden we the crazy ones for celebrating the high holy days that are in the scripture?
Right.
Don't make much sense. Go ahead, soldier.
The craziest part too, when you tell them about, hey, Chinese don't celebrate these days, or the East Indians don't celebrate these days.
Right.
You know, it's the way they I don't know, the program there.
Damn right. And what's so glorious about these stories, man? When I hear stories like this gets me motivated, man, because I want to be that guy, man. Like, I listen, I want the problems. I want the pressure. I want all of it. I'll do it all. That's the way I feel. I want to be one of them dudes that's so mighty that I do something that's so glorious in the eyes of the Lord that y'all have an Azah feast day. You understand? This is the day of Azar.
The feast of the cruel.
Yeah, the feast of the cruel. You know what I'm saying? The fierce feast of the cruel. Don't eat for a month straight.
You say don't eat.
No, eat
Oh.
for a month straight. It's going to be a month of eating and war. And each time you have a battle, you have a big feast afterwards.
Right.
You look for enemies to destroy. I'm trying to be that guy, man. You know what I'm saying? When we hear stories like this, man, this is what motivates me. You know what I'm saying? When I hear stories like Job, when I hear stories like, you know what I'm saying, Esther, when I hear these stories, man, it motivates me. Stories of David, man, this gets me excited about the future, man, because right now, there's new scriptures being written in I.S.U.P.K. because we the only ones doing the work of the Lord, man.
Right.
The Lord has put a truth and has put a spirit back on the planet. We know this because we see it all on Facebook. There's 1,000 woke niggas on Facebook, right? Everybody got some knowledge now. Everybody know the truth, right? Okay, you can know the truth. What does that mean, knowing?
Right.
That's just like me saying, okay, you know the winning Powerball numbers? Did you play it? So what's the point of knowing it? You didn't win nothing. You didn't get nothing. You knew it for nothing.
Right.
So knowing's not enough. Keep going, priest.
Come. For he had told them that he was a Jew.
He told them what?
That he was a Jew.
He told them he was a Christian.
A Jew.
He was Jewish.
Jew.
Hey, he let him know what time it was, man. He repped it like he was gangbanging.
Right.
We understand it in the world when we tell a nigga we from the west side or we blood or Crips. You understand?
Right.
That's how I tell a nigga I'm Israelite now. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm an Israelite. I say it with the hoping to offend a person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I want you to be offended. I want you to know how I feel about it. You get what I'm saying? Keep going.
And so if I could just real quick, like, it's important that brothers as well as sisters get into these scriptures and to really read these stories and to get the spirit behind them.
Right.
Like, this is what gives us strength to come against the world. Like, brothers wouldn't be able to stand as strong as they have and as strong as they do if they didn't go and look at how we were persecuted for looking to keep our culture and our customs and to learn our history. Like, brothers and sisters, they wouldn't be able to stand against our enemies as strongly as we have in the I.S.U.P.K. without these scriptures right here.
Right.
So brothers want to make sure that whenever you get any time, you got to look in these scriptures. You got to read them.
Yeah.
I understand it's hard doing with your personal life. You might have kids, you understand, wives, whatever family emergencies you got going on, your slave. Like, we got to make sure we take time to learn these stories, because by doing so, we learn about mighty men like Mordecai, who stood against the second most powerful man in this kingdom. You understand?
Right. Given power by the king.
Come.
You know what I'm saying? And if I could hold your point, like what he was saying about listening to the scriptures, just a quick suggestion. What I would do when I was as a slave, I downloaded an audio book of the scriptures, KJV, of course. You know what I'm saying? And I would listen to it. So if you don't have the time to read, listen to it. You know what I'm saying? And then what I also would do is when I heard something, I kept a notepad in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? When I heard something heavy or had a question about the scripture, I would stop it, play it back so I know exactly where I'm at, write it down, bring it to class. That's what I used to do. And real quick, on the scripture where it told him he was a Jew, do you know why he told him he was a Jew? Does anybody know why he told him he was a Jew? Go ahead, Kumpar.
Same reason we got to tell every Black, Hispanic, Native Indian they're a Jew.
Right, yeah, that's true. But it was the reason why he told them heathens he was a Jew. Go ahead.
This is Paul speaking, right?
Mordecai.
Mordecai. Oh, never mind.
All right, no sweat. The reason he told him he was a Jew was because they're trying to ask him, why aren't you doing the customs of us? Why aren't you celebrating our customs? The king wants to know. The king said, you tripping. What are you doing? He said, I can't do that. I'm a Jew. So now, whenever your family asks you why you can't celebrate Christmas, why you can't come to the birthday party of your little cousin, why you can't do, give me some more pagan holidays.
Valentine's Day,
Easter.
Thanksgiving.
When your family asks you why you can't do them things, simply tell them, I'm a Jew.
Right.
I'm a Jew. I can't do
That's
that.
the one they recently just gave us.
Right.
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth. Right. Go ahead, priest.
No,
Hold your point.
I was just gonna. I lost what I was gonna say. Salaki. Go ahead,
fault.
Shamash. No, you
Go ahead,
good.
Shamash.
It's just safe to say.
Michael had a question, sir.
Oh, my fault.
I was just gonna make a statement.
Hold on. Hold your point. Go ahead, Shamash.
I was just gonna ask, is it safe to just say I'm a holy man? I separate myself from that shit.
That's what Muslims say.
That's what Christian pastors say.
You get what I'm saying? Let them know exactly what you are and why you don't do it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be ashamed, like the scripture said. Don't be ashamed.
Right.
Let them know what you are. I'm a Jew.
Right.
It's against my beliefs. I don't believe as you believe. I'm one West. You can tell them that. They know what that means.
Right.
Like that devil at camp. That devil showed up and said, I'm here to kiss boots. He knew exactly what time it was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What's your question?
I just started reading Genesis the other day. So I see what you're saying. I started that the other day. So I'm probably like in the 40-something chapter.
Sorry, Christ.
Damn right. Damn right. Something you had to say, Taz, about?
I'm thinking it's a part of it. It was just life matters.
The devil. Yeah, listen, you got to be there to understand. You got to be there to understand, boy. That's what I'm saying, man. And just imagine when we move to the other location, it's going to be amped up times 100. You better be ready for that smoke. You know what I'm saying? That's why there are no cowards allowed in any UPK camp.
Right.
Because any camp, it could go down. I was watching the video with Cat Mashak, man. That wicked woman. Did anybody see that video? Where a chick with the baby was acting a fool, kicking the signs, and the only thing I kept thinking was, good thing this ain't Naptown, because that's why you have mighty man above you, so you can shows you how to have restraint.
Right.
Because I kept thinking, this boy beep 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 that I can't say on camera, but just know it would have ended well. I'd have been Trooper Azar. You know what I'm saying? Let's get some more of the scripture. So log here.
And it's like if I could real quick, just to touch on something you had said concerning when Mordecai said he was a Jew.
Right.
Like, for brothers and sisters, when your family tries to come to you and peer pressure you into celebrating these pagan holidays,
hit him with the pity trick.
Once again, come every time. Like when you are in these classes, like you should take that as the highest form of disrespect, because they show you that they don't give a damn about you wanting to better yourself.
Right.
You understand? Like they don't give a damn about you wanting to better your people. What they care about is, as long as you are as unhappy and destroyed as they are. That's what they care about. Like when you get in these classes, you have to have a zeal for the Lord that is unmatched by anybody in this earth. Like them Arabs, I mean, they got a zeal for their rock god over there, do they not? Were they not blowing themselves up in order to serve their God, to free their people from American oppression?
Humping the rock and then blow you the hell up.
You understand? Do they not slice open their faces as a way to serve their God?
The machetes
like,
doing the dance at it too.
Come. You understand? Like all these different religious, all these different religions, they are zealous to serve their gods. But if you come into this school, you have to have a zeal for the Lord that is unmatched by anybody.
Damn right.
And that's a hell of a thing to come against when you hear about how, Arabs is blowing themselves up for their God. You understand? Like these people, they do all kinds of just out of the world things in order to serve their power.
Right.
We have to be able to do the same. Of course, when I say that, I don't mean blowing yourself up. I don't mean going out and murdering some heathen. You understand? But you have to be strong enough to stop getting high. Like you got to be strong enough to stop sleeping with whores, to stop hating your brother, to stop murdering, lying, stealing. You have to be strong enough to be able to overcome those things.
Right. And if I could, go ahead.
About the, I'm just a question in regards to like marijuana.
Mm.
What's the concept behind that? Why we're forbidden from doing that? I just want to know. Nobody ever told me.
So you said, why aren't you allowed to smoke marijuana?
Right.
All right. So the reason you're not allowed to smoke marijuana is because you're smoking. You get what I'm saying? Like, your body is supposed to be a temple of the Lord, right? Why would you put anything in your body that hurt the Lord? To hurt the temple of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Smoking marijuana is equivalent to snorting cocaine, shooting heroin, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, smoking marijuana is unlawful, right? But marijuana also has other uses. Like, you can use it as an ointment, things like that. Some people even eat it. Eating is not unlawful, but let me ask you something. What's the benefit of eating it?
Yeah.
Exactly. To get high. You know what I'm saying? So there's no benefit. Just because it's not unlawful doesn't make it expedient. You get what I'm saying? But,
You break down this thing?
the strong?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's all through the scriptures. Strong drink is all through the scriptures. As a matter of fact, the most famous miracle that Christ ever did that everybody talks about is what? Hold on, let me see if you get it. The wine. Turn water into wine. You get what I'm saying? So that's not the issue. You get what I'm saying? Drinking is not a problem. When does drinking become a problem? Go ahead. Were you right there? Yep, alcoholic. When you become an alcoholic, a drunkard, that's when it becomes unlawful. So drinking liquor is not unlawful, but when you become an alcoholic, when that's the only thing that matters, when you put the liquor before your work, when you put the liquor before the work of the Lord, then it's a sin. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that goddamn matters is you getting drunk. Then it becomes a sin. But strong drink is all through the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? You drink wine at the Sabbath service. Christ turned water into wine. You know what I'm saying? They said, I'm paraphrasing the scriptures. He said, let them drink strong drink and lament. You know what I'm saying? At times of battle when you lose soldiers. We used to think that pouring liquor out was some OG gangster stuff. Once more, this is biblical. You know what I'm saying? Never knew it because we never knew the scriptures. Go ahead.
If I could just pull a scripture for you real quick, not to get away from, of course, while we're here, but just to help answer the question. Is Proverbs chapter 16, verse 27. An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is as a burning fire.
So we know what that is. And that ain't just talking about marijuana either. That's talking about tobacco. You dig up marijuana, you dig up tobacco, then what you do? You roll it up, and then you put the fire to your lips. Go ahead, Priest. Something you got to say?
Goddamn Christian and goddamn, they'll make up any goddamn excuse. Well, vapes and all that, they'll make up any goddamn excuse just to sin against the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you keep vaping if you
synthetic weed is not from the ground.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get synthetic throat cancer too.
And wondering why niggas drop out and have seizures.
Synthetic throat cancer. You know what I'm saying? The Lord ain't playing. The Lord is not playing. Cool. No fault. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Christ's eyes was very red from drinking wine.
Damn right. Absolutely right.
Verse 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
Right. And it's about to get good, man. The sister, she gonna step in and play her role, doing what a righteous sister does. But so now this is the outcome of when you don't listen to the oppressor, when you don't appease the oppressor.
Right.
In today's modern term, that would be your Kyrie Irvings and your Kanye West of the world. You get what I'm saying? The only thing that I say about them brothers, though, man, is that, you know what I'm saying, they was made an example out of because it ain't because of what they said. You know what I'm saying? That's not the problem. The problem is you can't partake of the oppressor's way of life and then decide that you just want to give it up overnight. The reason why we do what we do with no repercussions behind it is because we are protected by the Lord. They don't have the Lord's protection, even though the Lord using them to do their work, to do his work. You get what I'm saying? Because Kyrie's already said that he prefers white women. We know what Kanye West is married to or was married to. You know what I'm saying? And then got another one.
Y'all see his tattoo on his hand?
Hell no. What did it say? Well, I love white women or something?
I wasn't really paying attention, but like, you look at the tattoo, I don't know true star, or is that star?
Right. So he knows. So once more, he knows he's an Israelite. Kyrie knows he's an Israelite. Kanye West knows he's an Israelite. A lot of people know, but once more, so what? You know, it's not enough to know. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? You can know all day. I can know a tornado's coming, but if I don't do what I'm supposed to do to protect myself from the tornado, the hell am I knowing for? Hey, I'm gonna just sit here while I tears the house apart. I didn't go to the basement or nothing.
Right.
Not to the storm shelter. I just sat here. I know a tornado coming. At least I know it's coming. That's equivalent to what they're doing. They know they Israelites, but what the hell are they doing? Kendrick Lamar knows. This nigga supporting abortions. This nigga knows. He wore the little thorn at the award show. Had all the LGBT community on stage with him. You get what I'm saying? Saying some Christian stuff, but he knows he's an Israelite as well. Knowing that's not enough. Are you going to follow the Lord? That's the real question. How's about go get Shin out for me?
Come.
Go ahead.
Verse 6.
You had something else you want to say?
I just like, because we are around that time of the year, the so-called Easter. Like what is that word translated? It means like P-A-S-C-H-A. That's kind of like what Easter or like the meaning of it. It's called Pascha. But if you look at that Pascha word, like it means Passover. So I'm just wondering, like, what's the meaning? I mean, are you familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with it. You would have to show it to me in the scripture so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Verse 6. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had shewed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. Verse 7. In the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast pur, that is the lot, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. Verse 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. It's like, if I could just real quick, like that just goes to show you that when the Lord said that we're to be a holy people, word holy meaning separate, like we are not the same as these heathen nations. Like that's why Haman made sure to make a point saying that our laws were different from everybody else's.
Right.
Like these other nations, they might have laws, to where a man can leave his wife or a woman can leave her husband. You understand? But in our society, in our kingdom, in our way of life, like we aren't allowed to do that. Other nations, they might have it to where you can marry outside of your nation. You can eat anything it is that you want. Hell, even in America, you can get high and it's not illegal anymore.
Not at all.
You understand? But when it comes to our culture and who it is that we are as a nation, we can't do that.
Right.
Like that's one of the things that makes us so much better than these other nations, is that we don't have anything it is that we compromise on as a people. If the Lord told us to live our lives a certain way, then we're supposed to do that as a nation. You understand? As a people, and we're supposed to make sure that our children do the same. Slide it. Neither keep they the king's laws.
Right.
And that's how we're supposed to be in these lands. And when I say that, I don't mean, of course, go out and just start breaking the laws of America. You understand?
Right.
But in America, it's legal to go get an abortion. Does that mean that sisters are supposed to go out and become murderers,
Right.
or brothers are supposed to persuade sisters into giving up that child and destroying her spiritually? Not
Right.
only spiritually, but of course physically, because it's shown that sisters that get abortions eventually they get cancer. You understand? Like
Right.
that's legal in America. It's
Right.
legal in America to get high, like we just brought out. But does that mean that we should go and do it? No. Like
It's legal to get a sex change.
right.
You can go get your rod chopped off and
Mm.
throw it on the table.
Mm-mm.
I don't need it anymore.
It's legal to lay with another man.
Right?
Does that mean we should go and do it? Hell no. just because it's a law put in place in the kingdom, it
Right.
doesn't mean you have to go do it.
Right.
The state of Indiana just passed a law where it's not legal for under 18 kids parents to allow their kids to go either like change their sex or change their like.
Oh yeah, they can do it on their own. Yeah,
No,
they.
they can't do it. Like 18 and under, they can't. But it's like such a uproar of people just losing their mind, saying like, "How dare this?"
So at first they was.
The state be like,
At first they was allowed to do it.
Yeah, they were.
They switched it back.
They switched it back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about to be war behind that.
You see the uproar.
Yeah, I bet it is. The LGBT community doesn't go for that, and it kind of defeats the purpose whenever you allowing, like, I'll use the platform you're using. It's legal for these transgenders to go into the school system and teach kids, Homopar sons' age, about the transgender lifestyle. That's legal for them to do that. And not just teach them, but you should see the way they go in there dressed, like they are dressed like straight. I would say whores, but considering what they are, I mean that's not even the shocking part.
It's like if
Go
I could
ahead,
just real
Priest.
quick, not just Quam's son's ages, but even the age of my daughter.
Right.
Like they might not put it in like a school curriculum. They might not have programs it is you can put your child in. But we already know our oppressor being the devil that the Bible speaks of, he's going to put it in your shows.
Right.
He's going to put it in the cartoons. You
Right.
understand? And whatever it is that you put in front of your child, there's going to be some image in there that's going to promote this destructive lifestyle amongst our people.
And it's all lawful.
Like that's why it's so important, not only as a parent for sisters, but definitely for brothers. You got to be strong enough to be able to stand against these things.
Right.
Like you got to be strong enough to tell your woman, no, my child is not going to partake in this. They're not going to partake in that. And you can give them a breakdown why, or you can just tell them and, that be that. But that's part of the duty is being the head of a household, is looking out for your family. Within what?
You tell the teacher exactly what your child is allowed to do,
Right.
and what they're not allowed to do. And then here's also how you control it. You pop up.
Right.
You do random check-ins.
Right.
Shinya, when you was going to school, what happened? What happened when I walk in that school?
The teachers, the principals, the student community, everybody, shit. It was like a totally different spirit when you walk into the school.
Right. The whole school bow down to me. I walk in there, man, and I ain't even got my headpiece on now, but I walk in there, spike headpiece, spike everything, bulletproof vest. You get what I'm saying? Straight, ready for war. I walk in there and they know exactly who I am. And they're, oh God, we're so happy to see you. You know what I'm saying? All the students, everybody yield. They like, man, and then, you know what I'm saying? But they knew how to deal with my son. They knew how to deal with him. They knew, hey, listen, I call it the Django effect. You can't treat him like the rest of the niggas because he's not like the rest of the niggas. Remember that Django? Says he, you know what I'm saying? This is a free man, and you're gonna treat him as such. So that's what you want to do. You want to make an impact. You want to make sure that they know. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't just in what you say; it's what you do. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't walk like everybody else. I don't talk like everybody else, and I damn sure don't do what everybody else do. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna separate me from the rest of the pack. You don't have a choice but to. You know what I'm saying? To where other parents wanted to do, you know what I'm saying, was who are you? What do you represent? You get what I'm saying? Like, and then they understood, like I said, once they understand who you are and what you build and your culture and what you represent, then everything else performs into place. You know what I'm saying? So when he leave out of a classroom because they're doing his pledge of allegiance or he don't stand for the national anthem or whatever the case is, they know why. We don't believe in that. It's against our religious belief. You know what I'm saying? And I will show up there and do what I got to do as a parent to protect my son from the indoctrination of white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? That's my job. That's all of our jobs. Not just to protect our family, but our nation. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you handle that situation. Hey, now we don't do Christmas. Don't do no Christmas program and all that. Even with her, she does homeschool. Her teacher comes to the house. You know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all seen her teacher. She come through, humble herself, utmost respect. She come through picking up trash on my yard. I'm like, bitch, quit touching stuff. You know what I'm saying? I left that there on purpose. You know what I'm saying? But she knows, like, just from a conversation that I was having with Bongad on the phone, she knew how I moved. You know what I'm saying? He called, hey, Shalom, what's going on, priest? You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? We talking, she hearing me talk. You know what I'm saying? I hung up the phone and she was she had said something, and then she I could see that she was starting to move towards it was some pagan holiday, but she put all that paperwork. She was like, I'm guessing y'all don't celebrate, you know what I'm saying, such and such. I said, we don't. You know what I'm saying? Then she came through this last time, it was because Valentine's Day passed. So the little work pamphlet had a bunch of hearts and Valentine's Day stuff. And when she got there, she was like, I'm going to just take this out, take that out. She's like, can I use your whiteboard? We're just going to make something up. Yes, do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't be having her color hearts and count stars. And we don't do that in this household. You know what I'm saying? But it's in how you carry yourself. You know what I'm saying? She knows that we don't play that. She lucky she caught me in a good mood. Remember back when y'all first came in, I had that sign up, no white people.
No dogs,
yeah,
no white people.
It's something else. And then I had dogs crossed out.
Yeah.
Because I got a white dog. You know what I'm saying? I got a white pit bull. It was funny. So like whenever white workers would come in the house, that's the first thing they see, biggest day. No white people, no dogs, and no something else. But dogs is crossed out. You know what I'm saying? And then you see my dogs just right there. You can't miss them. You know what I'm saying? They be like, oh shit, what did I just walk into? You get what I'm saying? But you stand on that. I'm not ashamed to be I.S.U.P.K. I'm not ashamed to be an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? My whole life has led me to this course, man. I wasn't ashamed to be a Christian.
Right.
I wasn't ashamed when I was in the world smoking weed. I did that everywhere in public.
Right.
Everywhere in public. I want you to smell it. That you know I got the best. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ashamed then. Why would I be ashamed now?
Right.
I wasn't ashamed when I was a sinner. I'm not going to be ashamed now that I'm following these laws, statutes, and commandments. Right. I'm going to wear that on my sleeve like I wore the sin on my sleeve, man. So it starts with you, man. You control the narrative. You let them know, listen, man, we ain't doing that. If you catch them doing it, you flip out. I'm not saying cuss everybody out. You tell them, listen, I clearly told you that we don't do this. Don't ever let this happen again. If this happens again, I'm going to have to file a report. You know, you play that game.
Right.
I'm going to have to report you and such, so and so. Then I'm going to pull my son out of this school system, let him know that you guys don't respect religious beliefs. Matter of fact, let me call my lawyer and see what he has to say about this. You know what I'm saying? That's the game that you play, straight up. They have to respect your religion.
So
go ahead,
it's like, not to cut you off just real quick.
Go ahead, mighty man.
Sisters, go ahead and start getting the plates ready and just hand them out to brothers before the food gets cold. Baba Kasha.
And just for the record, I'll eat when I get down. I don't know.
I'll wait.
Okay, yeah. So feed the man that's in the audience. I'm ready. I'm done talking, man. But yeah, you control that, man. Can't nobody tell you. That's the narrative that we've been destroyed by. You can't raise your kids no more. I'm gonna raise mine. I'm gonna raise my kids because ain't nobody else gonna raise mine for me. If these people raise your kids is gonna be wearing skirts. Your sons is gonna be women, and your daughters is gonna be men. If you let these people raise your kids. Damn right.
I'm sure a lot of brothers that coming to the light, come to the faith. They significant other or they baby mama may be as usual,
right?
Traditional Christian. How would you guide them and you know what I'm saying, instruct them on how to handle that.
I can answer.
No, I got it. When you become a teacher, it's all you are.
My man's like, I know this.
Hey,
I
right?
know
He
this.
said, I know the answer to this.
I've heard it before.
I just answered this question the other day. Hey, great. So at the end of the day, once more, just like with your child, it starts with you. You know what I'm saying? It starts with you. Like, so how can you expect somebody else to follow you and you not doing what you're supposed to do?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like when I first came into the truth, my rib, she thought it was just a phase. You get what I'm saying? I gave up my old life overnight. You get what I'm saying? Everybody thought it was just a phase. That's my son right there behind you. He'd tell you. Everybody thought I was tripping. He'd tell you how the family disowned me. You know what I'm saying? I went from being a goddamn drug dealer one day to just giving it all up the next. You know what I'm saying? I went from being the most.
Well, you still with
Yeah. Listen, I mean, I couldn't leave her.
No, I mean, like,
The scriptures say this. The scriptures say this. If she be happy to dwell, let her dwell. But here's why she had to change her life. She had to change her life because I changed mine. I wasn't just saying this is what we gonna do, and then she see me doing all the same old shit. You get what I'm saying? I protected this brotherhood like nothing else. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to the school. I'm always at the school. I'm always surrounding myself with the brothers. These niggas will tell you, man, we be at my house till 5 a.m. Guess where she be at? Can somebody give it to me? Where's she at?
Slave.
Damn right. And soon she get off the slave and we there drunk, what she do? You know what I'm saying?
Fuck that one.
Damn right. It starts with you. Go ahead, priest.
No, he was asking if like you're not with her.
Oh, you're not with her. I thought you were saying.
yeah, I'm not.
Oh, I thought you were saying if you're with her.
No, I get that.
Oh, if you're not with her. So that's not your rib then, right?
No.
Then fuck her. That's a lucky my language. My fault. We make that very simple. You know what I'm saying? We're not worried about no woman that we ain't with, and she ain't gonna dictate how I raise my son. Go ahead.
Again, I'm gonna do everything I gotta do to instill this in my kid.
Absolutely.
In the right thing.
I could.
Your baby mama that you not with no more, like y'all completely separated. She emphatic on the other end.
Right.
It's like here's the solution to that. You teach your children when you have them. You
Right.
teach them how they're supposed to conduct themselves. You teach them not to eat pork, not to get high. I don't know if you have a daughter or a son, but if it's a daughter, teach her not to be a whore. If you have a son, teach him not to sleep with women and throw them away. Like it starts with you teaching them, and you have to show them why it is that what their mother follows is wrong,
Right.
and why it is that they have to live their lives how you are trying to live your life. Like that's the solution to that. Like you can't, unless you have custody, you can't stop, your ex from having an influence on them because they live with them. You understand? They got to be around them. But what you can do is you can show them how you've made steps to change your life, and then from them seeing how you've changed, that'll make them change. Lord willing.
And if
And
I
it-
could,
Come.
like here's how easy it really is. Serve the Lord.
Right.
And whatever you love, the Lord loves, and whatever you want to protect, the Lord is going to protect. That's exactly what I did. I just served the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I had the same issue. With my son and my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like my daughter, she got her Hebrew name before my son did. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all remember she came to the Passover with me and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is this, she felt she was strong enough to go back to her mother and help her mother and teach her mother, which wasn't the case. You know what I'm saying? And I told her, you got to choose. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes so she wants to get back in the fold, but she has to prove herself. Just like anybody else would. Just because she's my daughter doesn't mean she gets a pass. She don't get a pass. She got to prove herself to me. Even kids have a job to do. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You knew that as a child. You knew that you had a job to do. Make sure that you embed that in your kids as well. You have a job to do. That same loyalty that you show your mother, I deserve that same loyalty. I deserve the same loyalty. The same way that you honor your mother, you need to honor me. The same way that you want to appease your mother, you need to want to appease me. So then your kids, and then not only that, But he'd tell you, like my son would tell you, I told him what was going to happen. I never spoke bad on his mother. I just said, listen, this is XYZ. This is how this is going to play out. And when it played out that way, the only thing they can say is you was right. You know what I'm saying? The pagan holidays and all of that shit, that's going to run its course. Eventually, the presents don't mean nothing. Eventually, you can't buy love. You can't buy love. You can't buy loyalty. You can't buy honor. You can't buy respect. You can't buy integrity. You can't. It has to be given. All of that stuff has to be given. As long as you're giving that, it's going to play out in your favor. And you can. And here's the key: before you give